Hey guys, I'm going to review a video called I Quit Sugar for an Entire Year, How My Life Changed.
Sugar, something that we've all come to love, whether that's grabbing a candy bar at the grocery store, stacking up some cookies in the pantry, or ordering a slice of cake after a nice meal. It's hard to find anything else in the entire world that can give us that warm, buttery sensation that our favorite snacks do. That's only
Buttery sensation? That's a craving for fat.
But here's why I quit sugar for an entire year and what happened to me.
Sure you did.
What is going on, guys, and welcome to the channel. Now, for a little bit of background, I started this challenge on January 1st of 2020. Back then, I had a fairly normal sweet tooth. I liked ice cream, chocolate, and candy every now and then. But when I was home for winter break, I didn't know how to cook, so I was snacking a ton. And after just 2 weeks, I felt super lethargic and bloated. So I randomly announced to my family one night that I was gonna quit all added sugars for 30 days and see what happened. Now, at the time,
Sugar doesn't cause that, and also cravings for ice cream, even chocolate, are actually just cravings for animal fat.
I knew, like I'm sure you do, that eating too much sugar is not good for us. I mean, we've all felt that experience of eating way too much candy and then just completely crashing the next day. And I'm sure we also know that there's more severe consequences of eating too much sugar, like it can cause tooth decay, weight gain, and even diabetes. But we still eat a lot.
Of course he's going to talk about extracted sugar in this video. I understand that, but I still have to point out how it really doesn't make any sense at all. He means sugar from beetroots or sugarcane, for example, which is where most of the sugar comes from, which we call white sugar.
Lot of it. According to a recent study from the Angeles Institute, the average American is eating around 71 grams of added sugar per day. When I got back to campus, I threw out everything in my pantry which had any added sugar whatsoever. And it actually was pretty simple because at a meal plan, I was eating primarily from the dining hall. So my goal here was just to...
That's his meal or what? I'm not sure. Maybe he's going to say it, but already on the right side, we see bread, which is basically only sugar. Yes, we call it carbohydrates, but in the body, it simply turns into sugar. Bread is arguably even worse than candy because you're also going to be getting gluten, anti-nutrients, and pesticides from it.
Avoid the dessert section of the dining hall, and this challenge should be pretty easy.
Again, mashed potatoes, I assume. And those, of course, are, again, carbohydrates, which are sugar.
But it actually wasn't that simple, because as humans, we're wired to really want sugar. And this stems back millions of years ago when our ancestors survived off eating rich, ripe, sugary fruits. And they knew a fruit was ripe when it tasted sugary. So as Daniel Lieberman puts it...
Ooh, who is this guy? He looks like a fruitarian. He looks really emaciated. Must be.
Sugar is a deep, ancient craving. You guys probably watching this video
typical
right
vegan,
now,
fruitarian look.
Sugary food I threw in there, the thumbnail that caught your eye, and you clicked on this video. So as you guys would imagine, the craving started pretty soon. Not even 3 days after being back on campus, I just needed ice cream. And those cravings kept getting worse. I also started to notice at the time that companies are putting added sugar in everything. Barbecue sauce, spaghetti, bread, low-fat yogurt.
Yeah, but all of that stuff is basically made out of sugar already anyway. It's pretty irrelevant if they add some to it.
Cereal, even the quote-unquote healthy cereal, you guys.
This is also all sugar. It's completely irrelevant if they add sugar to it or not. You're still eating sugar, fiber, and anti-nutrients.
See in the grocery stores like Honey Nut Cheerios still have about 5 grams of added sugar per serving. And companies do this because they know that we're wired to love sugar. So they put sugar in their products, we'll keep buying them.
I once tried to explain this to somebody who ate potatoes and they just can't grasp it because they really believe that they're not eating sugar. It's really hard for humans to understand this.
Over and over again. It also might have something to do with how the government subsidizes sugar in the US, but don't quote me on that just yet. And with those cravings came withdrawal effects. I definitely had a lot more trouble sleeping. I was slightly more irritable, and I don't want to say I was depressed, but I definitely was feeling gloomier than usual. Thankfully, I didn't experience any cognitive...
I don't even know what he went through because he was still consuming sugar. Maybe he was even consuming more sugar because a lot of these people who quit sugar start eating more bread, potatoes, noodles, and so on, and actually consume even more sugar than before. Not saying that it is like that with him, but I don't know.
Issues or headaches like some people report when they just immediately quit sugar. But I definitely was not feeling my best. And thankfully, this withdrawal effect subsided around a month after starting the challenge. And it was just right about then when the benefits started kicking in. So I decided to extend my challenge to 90 days to see how much of these benefits can I reap. Between week
I think that he simply stopped eating junk food, essentially. If he was saying that he was eating a lot of chocolate and candies, for example, of course that will be better for his body, but he didn't stop eating sugar.
week 3 and week 7, I started to notice how my energy
That would be a
levels were going
zero-carb
up.
diet.
I wasn't boxing at the time because of a super hectic schedule, but I was running up the stairs to my apartment with ease. Cardio was much easier at the gym. This was all being followed by less crashing and being more alert throughout the day. Also, when it was 6 or 7 o'clock at night, I didn't feel like I was just swamped and just exhausted. I felt like I had a good amount of juice left in me and I could knock out another hour of homework or do some productive stuff. However, there was much more awesome stuff happening at the cellular level. According to an article by the Huffington Post and health.com, when you quit added sugar, you can expect healthier, younger looking skin, as well as lower insulin levels, which will help you lose weight and reduce your risk of diabetes, as well as a steadier stream of
Yes, insulin is a growth hormone, and just like any growth hormone, it's simply an aging hormone. So of course, having lower insulin levels is going to make you look younger. You're also going to be causing less glycation, producing less advanced glycation end products, AGEs, which is essentially what causes aging.
energy and reduce your risk of getting a heart attack by 40%. And on top of all of that, you can expect to maintain
This would be somewhat true if you would eat a zero-carb or at least a low-carb diet, which from what he showed, he didn't actually do. So he's not really getting any of those benefits.
harder erections. Now, around 2 months
Oh
into
my
the
God.
challenge, the cravings were still not going away. And I just really wanted to put some A1 sauce on my steak. But thankfully, I had the willpower to push through that, which I needed when the bug hit. And I was back home with that stocked pantry full of food. And at that
What
point in
bug?
time, with all of this craziness happening in the world, that added sugar challenge was the last thing on my mind. It honestly felt awful when I couldn't get any snacks at the grocery store except for peanuts, and when all my family has a pretty big sweet.
Again, peanuts also have some carbohydrates, some sugar.
But now fast forwarding to month 9 of that challenge, everything seemed to flip around. And those things I read about in those articles started coming true. I realized I'd had a breakout in months. My energy levels were sky high. I was sleeping like a baby. And this is kind of weird, but I started to notice that I was seeing much more veins in my arms and my skin was a bit thinner. And this all happened when gyms were completely closed and I was inside 24 hours a day, working full-time and going to school full-time. And finally, when the new year hit, I actually did not run to my pantry at midnight, eat everything I could. In fact, I didn't eat anything with added sugar that day, because I just came to realize that I wasn't addicted to sugar anymore. I felt these amazing benefits and I wasn't
Yeah, because you never stopped consuming it.
ready to give all them up
So
for a
stupid.
few seconds of pleasure. And going
What
forward
a
in
dumb
the
video.
future, I've decided to stop consuming most added sugars. If someone hands me a hot dog with a little bit of ketchup on it, or this huge carton of yogurt has 1 gram of added sugar, I'm not gonna freak out over it and I will eat it. But having seen and researched what all these excess sugars are doing to your body, and even seeing what it did to mine, it's just not something I want to put back in there. So that is basically my 1-year experience quitting added sugar that I wanted to share.
What an absolutely vague video. We don't even know what he ate. He only showed a few things and mentioned peanuts. But from what we understand for sure is that he never stopped eating sugar. The thing though is that he most likely predominantly ate whole foods, which means that he absorbed the sugar a lot slower and he didn't have these insulin spikes, which is why he most likely felt a lot better.
With you guys. You guys did enjoy this video. Feel free to like and subscribe, but really just let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this topic, your experiences, something similar. I really want to hear it and I'm all for it.
The only people who would be able to give an opinion on how it is not to eat any sugar at all would be people who did zero carb, because those are humans who eat animal based, which is how we would eat for the most part in nature. Of course, there are times when you will get fruit in tropical places even more so, and sometimes there will be honey around if you can find it. And of course, you could also theoretically farm some animals and get their milk. But even if you would freshly hunt an animal, the blood would have sugar, the liver has glycogen storages, of course. There is basically no way to actually eat zero carb in nature, which is of course why it is an unnatural diet. And I've also done it for a very long time. I did a cooked ketogenic diet in the past where I consumed very few carbohydrates, and then I started eating raw meat. I got some carbohydrates from some dairy now and then. It was very, very little, even less than on the cooked ketogenic diet. And then I did zero carb for a very long time. That's because I didn't want to eat any carbohydrates. I was simply listening to my body. And later on, I started eating one fruit a day or every other day, something like a mango. And then I started eating more and more. And sometimes in winter again, I ate no carbohydrates and then I ate some. It's definitely a good idea to stop eating extracted sugar. But this video was misleading, not on purpose. He doesn't understand what he's talking about, obviously. But the people who will watch it will not understand the difference between sugar and carbohydrates, or more so the lack of a difference. And then they will still continue eating all of the garbage carbs, not realize why they still have these insane sugar cravings because they don't actually stop consuming sugar. And that way you will not get rid of all of your junk food cravings. If you would go on a low-carb diet at least, then you would get even way more benefits than the guy in the video did. Thanks for watching.